Well, guys and girls, this is really not the tip that's in here for today, so you're going to get two tips for today. And we just had so much rain and so much high water all over the South, it seems like, at what type of structure, what type of bank is affected the less by rising water. The fish that live in that area are affected less by rising water. And if you have a real rapid increase like we've had in a lot of our lakes, 10, 15 feet overnight, where can you go and still find the fish? Now, we know that bass are going to move with the water, but where's some place we can go where we can find them the quickest and easiest when the water has extremely rapid rises? And that's not really our fishing tip that's in the book, but it's a good one too. Good morning, guys and girls. Turn the page. July 1st. July 1st. Look at that. July 1st. July 1st, reading from Catch of the Day book on the Catch of the Better Life channel on YouTube. Jimmy Houston Outdoors, all capital letters, on Facebook. Jimmy Houston Outdoors on TikTok. And we have, we don't post these every day on TikTok, by the way, but just occasionally. We have 1 million people on our social media now. I've gone over 1 million people on social media. We're tickled to death. Thank you, thank you, thank you for every single one of them. If everybody shared with one friend, we could have 2 million overnight. That's right. That's crazy, and even to think about that would be kind of crazy. July 2, Jude 24, the book of Jude, J-U-D-E, Jude 24. God is strong, and He can help you not to fall. It's in the Bible. That's right, Jude. God is strong and can help you not to fall. We just got to give Him our hand. Got to give Him our hand. When my buddy Gus Roten was 95 years old, I've told this story. I thought he was 96 at the time. Keep in mind, I wrote this particular Daily Devotional book 20 years ago, 2005. I got another one that we wrote just recently called Catch a Better Life, which is the name of this channel. When Gus was 95 years old, I took him fishing one summer with his son, Jerry. Both Jerry and Gus have gone to be with the Lord now. The lake was high, really high, and for us to get from our boat, or get from the bank out to our boat that was on the dock, we had to walk a warped 2x12 plank for about 10 feet. In other words, this plank was on the shoreline and going over to the ramp of the boat dock to get on the boat. When Gus saw it, he simply and very emphatically said, no. And we told him, well, you're going to have to walk across that point. He's going to go fishing. Every time we told him, after 3 or 4 times, he just kept saying no. Finally, Jerry and I assured him that we would both wade in the water, one on each side of him. We'd wade in the water along both sides and hold his hands and not let him fall. Gus walked the plank. He walked the plank. He got in the boat, and we caught just several nice bass here. If I remember the story right, it's 46 bass we caught that evening. Gus told us that he didn't get to be 95 years old by being stupid. I'm a long way from 95, but the Lord told me I'm going to live to be 95. So, I've got quite a ways to go, but you don't get to be 95 by being stupid. And it seems like I do a lot more stupid things lately than I've done the rest of my life, but evidently I haven't been too bad because we've made it this far. Here's the big deal, though. Can I tell you? We don't need to be stupid about God. And sometimes we are. God is able to hold us in safety no matter what circumstances we get ourselves into or how high the water. God is able to hold us. When we really trust Him, completely, God will not let us fall. He'll not let us fall. He'll hold us. He'll hold our hand, just like we were holding Gus's hand as he walked that plank to get on that dock to go fishing. Just reach up there. God will take hold of your hand, and He'll not let you fall. Here's our tip for today, and we actually got a couple of them because I was telling you the one that was not the tip for the day in this book, which is the Catch of the Day book. By the way, you can get a copy of these books or the Catch of Better Life at jimmyhouston.com. I'll be happy to personalize them and autograph them for you. But the tip that's actually in this book says that share a day of fishing with a senior citizen, the blessing will be yours. That's the tip for today. And let me tell you, I think about that trip with Gus Roten often. It's one of the highlights of my entire fishing career, was taking that man fishing when he's 95 years old and catching those 46 fish. We just absolutely had a ball. I spoke at his funeral about 6 months later. We was talking about water coming up quickly, like coming up 10, 15, 20 foot at night. And you know, when it does, and you're going to go fishing the next day, you've been out there the day before, everything you have is 10 or 15 or 20 foot deeper. What type of structure or what type banks should you go to that the rising water will have the least amount of effect on those fish immediately? Got it? Bluff type banks. That's the answer. Bluff type banks. When you get in that situation, and usually a lot of times you have to run up the river or you have to run down toward the dam on the lake, depending, to find those bluff type banks. You can look on your topo map, look on a Google map, whatever, look on the map on your fish locator, and find where you have bluff type banks, where it's just steep bluffs. Those fish now, to go 10 foot, all they do, the fish was on that bluff to go 10 foot, and maybe he was just a foot from the surface, and that water comes up 10 or 12 foot, all he's got to do is just go straight up. Very, very little. A fish, if the water comes up 10 foot, a fish that was right here on this shoreline, right here behind me, and the water comes up 10 foot, he may have to go 40, 50, 100 yards up on the bank to stay in that same amount of water. And then they'll do that. They do that. But they don't do it immediately. So sometimes those fish become almost impossible to catch until the water stabilizes and get those chance to get those fish up there. Fish will follow the rising water. Bass will follow the rising water. So, but immediately if you fish right after a big raise, 10, 15, 20 feet, and let me give you one real quick example. One easy way to do that is tournament back on Wheeler over in Alabama, and Chris and I was catching fish on stumps down in the lake, stumps that we could see and some we could just barely not see. And we're catching these scattered stumps, and the water came up 18 feet overnight. 18 feet overnight. I knew those stumps were going to be 18 foot deep. Fish that's on there. We couldn't even find the stumps. We couldn't even find the stumps. As before, we had forward-facing sonar, so we for sure couldn't find the stumps. And even if we didn't find them, those fish are going to be off of them. They're gone. I turned around and ran up to the dam. That's right. So a dam is one of the areas you can look at when the water comes up 10, 15, 20 feet. I ran up to the Gunnersville Dam. Run up to that Gunnersville Dam, led the tournament the first day. Caught a limit without any problem. Because those fish that were living on that dam, when that water came up 18 feet, they just simply moved up and they were the same depth they were. They were about 12 or 15 feet deep from the surface. But think about that was where they were when I caught them in that tournament. I caught them in that tournament was actually just above the water, above the water the day before. But they just simply moved up, got that same deal. They just simply swim up just a little ways, Worked out really, really good. Would have won that tournament, as a matter of fact. Got the lead the first day. We would have had me a few hole jumpers come in there the second and third day. Still did really well. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. Fish like you, and remember, I sure do love you.